Now, a couple of other just minor things I want to talk about with this. The first is where to store your CSS file. You see I've got this Custom CSS Location choice. And you have the choice of either saving the CSS in the head of your page or saving the CSS in a separate CSS file. Now, if you're only using this plugin of mine, and you're not using any of my other plugins, then you want to just go ahead and store this in the head of the page, because that doesn't write very much CSS, and it saves you an HTTP request. So your site will run, milliseconds faster because it's not having to go get the CSS file. So if we take a look at this, for example, we just look at our source. Here is the custom CSS that was created by that plugin. It sits inside the head of your page. And, that's not very much. And so there's no reason, if this is the only plugin you're using, there's no reason to use it. No reason not to do this. However, if you're using multiple plugins of mine, or if you're using one of the more complex plugins that does not give you the chance of putting the CSS in the head, then you want to choose to place it in a separate CSS file. Now, before I show you what that looks like, if we come back over to that custom file editor for a second, the plugin creates this BYOB custom CSS file and places it in your thesis custom folder. And when it's created, it's automatically created blank. But all of my plugins will write to this file. And so if you've got 6 or 7 of my plugins, they will each put their CSS in this one file. And so that you can get all of their CSS served up from one HTTP request, which is the most efficient way to do this stuff. And so showing you what that looks like then, if we come back over to the simple nav menu and we choose to place it in, not in the head of our page, but in a separate CSS file, and hit save, come back over to our custom file editor, you'll see that we've actually changed our custom file. And now that CSS has been placed here. And every time you hit your save button on any one of the plugins, it replaces the code for that plugin in this file. So that's one of the benefits of doing these plugins with Thesis, is that we know for certain where the file can be stored safely, and we know that we can share the file. So if you see BYOB custom in your custom folder, that's because you're using one of my plugins and have written to that file. And if for some reason or another you destroy this file, all you have to do is go save your plugins again, and it'll rewrite the file.